Hello everybody, my name is Faethodas. Welcome to one more video of the many thousands of videos that we have on this channel. One more is added and it is this one. And this one is going to be this build here. I will show you a new build of mine, which I happen to call Lion King. So, we are here in legendary difficulty in the beginning of Eternal Embers Act. This is a legendary hero. And before we start with the build, remember to subscribe if you like Titan Quest content and you like the content of this channel. It is free to do so, and also hit the like button on videos that you like to support the channel with the algorithm and all of these things so that more people can watch the videos. The Lion King, who is a legendary hero, started because when you make a legendary hero it starts straight away in legendary difficulty at level 70 in the Eternal Embers Act specifically, always. And I decided to make the Lion King because we have this item, the evil lion head weapon that comes with Eternal Embers DLC. And I wanted to make a build based around this item anyway. As we can see here, the class is a champion, which is warfare and nature masteries combination. But first, with the attribute points as a level 70 hero, I spent points only on strength and dexterity. I didn't spend points elsewhere. And I spent about 60% of my points to strength, and the rest went to dexterity. Now, with masteries, this is the state of masteries. We have maxed out, we are dual wielding of course. We have maxed out all of the skills, weapon training and dual wield skill tree. And it is also on +4 levels, totally maxed out. I have spent only 1 point on battle rage for now. Later I will spend more, especially on this one. And I have maxed out the dodge attacks for survivability of course, the battle standard for more survivability and damage output, the triumph for more damage output against enemies that are under the effect of this one, and of course less damage output from those enemies to us when it comes to their physical damage output. And here we have maxed out the onslaught, and we use it of course, it is the left mouse skill. Onslaught increases physical damage per charging levels. We have maxed out the ignore pain add-on of onslaught, which provides physically pierced resistances. I have spent only 1 point on hamstring, later I will probably max it out. And I have maxed out the ardor, which provides movement speed and attack speed. And 1 point was spent on Warhorn to stun enemies, and on Doomhorn to also reduce their health and armor. In Nature Mastery, we have maxed out the Heart of Oak. This one at this level at least provides 75% health, 10% total speed, always 10% total speed is fixed, it doesn't go up or down. The add-on Tranquility of Water, which has this sense of minus 50% energy cost when you have this one activated and you use skills that cost energy. Every time you use a skill, there is a 72% chance that that skill will cost half. And the Permanence of Stone, which provides elemental resistance. Here we have the Refresh. The Refresh is a skill which when you use, if you have any other skills on cooldown, you use this one and it reduces by this amount the cooldowns of all skills. So it makes all of your skills to cool down faster, to refresh faster, and you can use them more frequently this way. I have maxed out the Earth Bite. This is a very awesome skill. It can immobilize enemies, but it also reduces the defensive ability of enemies. This means that when enemies get their defensive ability reduced, 50% it says here, but 50% is a very huge number. When they get this defensive ability reduced, then all of the melee attacks, they hit much harder on those enemies, and they deal more critical damage and they kill them easier, and they hit them more easier. It is easier to hit them instead of missing with the melee attacks. So this is awesome. And I'm using this one mostly for this thing, for the defensive ability and immobilization in case I have many enemies that are coming to get me, although to this specific build this is not an issue. And last but not least we have the Plague with the add-on Fatigue, which reduces the damage and total speed of enemies very nicely. And the first one I have maxed out from this skill tree. is the susceptibility, because this one reduces physical elemental poison resistance of enemies. We deal both physical and elemental damage with this build. So, this build already, without having this one activated on enemies, it already destroys absolutely enemies with physical damage, but it's the elemental damage that helps the build. But imagine what would happen if I activated this one on enemies, on top of my own power. And then on top of that, if I also had the battle standard activated at the same time. So, to make this build work, when it comes to items, I decided, let me deactivate this one, to use these items here. Here we have the artifact strength of Pangu. This is probably the most powerful artifact in the game, for survivability at least, and it comes with Eternal Embers DLC. I'm using the Alexander Squirrels because I got the +2 to all skills, and okay, the other stats are perfect as well for this build specifically. I'm using the Red Fist Hide, which is something like a lion's face, head, whatever. This one is a master infrequent item from Atlantis Act. And the very awesome thing about this item is that it has plus 1317 health. That's a huge amount. Of course, I don't really need this health because we have from Nature Mastery the Heart of Aku, which provides plus 75% health. So anyways, yeah, this build doesn't have any health issues without this helmet on, but with this helmet on things become even better. And it also looks like a lion's face. So this is the lion kick build, so I wanted to have something cosmetically to look like a lion. And here we have it. Here we have the Philips Reforms. Amazing, very powerful set item overall. Attack speed buff, which I got for this bit. I'm dual wielding melee weapons. Bleeding damage buffs, defensive ability, total speed as well, and some very nice resistances. Here we have the Tamosis leggings. Very, very powerful. This is probably the most powerful leggings item in the whole game for strength based items. And item that is based around survivability, because it provides so many resistances. Here we have the Pendant of Immortal Rage, an absolute diamond or gem of an amulet for such a build. It adds so much physical damage flat, then you get the huge buff to physical damage, then you get attack speed, you get offensive ability, you get pierce resistance. I mean, this item is perfect for many builds, and it is perfect also for this build. Here we have the resistance of the Tinkerer. I'm using this one to get resistances. The Tinkerer suffix allows you to enchant items with 2 components instead of 1. So I went with survivability components only to increase my resistances and what have you. And here we have the Ring of Velenda. I'm using this one mostly for the bleeding and poison resistance buffs, and also the 10 health and 10 energy regen per second is very nice to have. Last but not least, of course, the most important item of the build is this one, because I made this build around this item. The Evil Lion Head, which we can see that I'm dual wielding, is extremely powerful. It comes with Eternal Embers DLC. Overall, Eternal Embers DLC brings many OP legendary weapons. Most legendary weapons are super OP of this act DLC. And anyways, we have this item. This one has a super huge base physical damage up to 518. And on top of that we have the bleeding damage over time, which, okay, it is minor, it doesn't really, it works on enemies, but it is so little that it doesn't really matter. But we have the added bonus damage, which is a very big amount, 206. We have the 100 something elemental damage, which is a nice amount. And you know, these two types of damage, even including bleeding, these are secondary types of damage for this build, because the main type is of course physical. And as secondary damage of damage, we don't care very much about those, but if we can somehow boost them up even further, for example, bleeding damage gets buffed by dexterity. We have increased the dexterity here by spending attribute points, because we need dexterity also to gain the offensive ability and defensive ability. So now This bleeding damage is not just 102, this is the initial number of the item. It is 102 plus all of the buffs that we get to total damage or from dexterity and whatnot. And other ways to increase the damage of secondary skills would be something like Plague, for example, this one, Susceptibility, which reduces elemental resistances of enemies, which means that now this 103 elemental damage is not really 103, this is the initial number of the item, it is 103 plus the buffs that it gets from intelligence points a little bit, or plus from buffs that it gets from total damage, and of course that skill that reduces elemental resistance of enemies instantly increases, we could say, at the same time the elemental damage that our attacks deal. So yeah, we have some synergies here. And this item is also very awesome for the physical resistance buff, the attack speed buff, and the plus to all skills in Warfare Mastery. And we have 2 types. So, by equipping these 2 items, and this one, with the plus to all skills, we get plus 4 to all skills in Warfare Mastery, and we get plus 2 to all skills in Nature Mastery because of this item. Plus 2 to all skills. This is a setup. Now, if we activate the Heart of Oak, these are the stats. We don't have the best resistances here, but the resistances are good overall, especially if you consider that we have a very good amount of health. We also have very good amount of physical resistance, and the combined armor is here, good enough. Here we have perfect stun resistance, which is super crucial, I would say. Nothing there. Energy cost reduction is good, health regen okay. Offensive ability is awesome. And yeah, as I said before, by using this skill, the Earth Bite, which reduces defensive ability of enemies by 50%. This means that now we could say that our offensive ability somehow goes higher. It doesn't go higher actively, but if we have this offensive ability, for example, the enemy has 1098 offensive ability, and we have 1098, the enemy has, 1098 defensive ability, and we have 1098 offensive ability, and now we use this skill which reduces their defensive ability by 50%, their defensive ability will go down to something like 500 plus, and this means that automatically, without changing our offensive ability, it is like this way we double up our offensive ability against those enemies that are under this effect, which means that now we never miss our melee attacks on them, almost never. And also we deal more critical damage with more critical hits. This is a build. We have some very nice synergies here, like the offensive ability with this one, or the plague skill with reducing damages so that we deal with this one, and the dexterity and attributes, buffing up damages of this one, and whatever we have here. Now, let's go destroy something so that you can see some gameplay. Yeah, this build is going to be... It is extremely powerful altogether. Of course it will die sometimes, it doesn't have the best resistances, but it is not a hardcore build, so I don't really care personally. The wreckage. Super duper easy. That was the plague skill on enemies. So, a good way to try to survive with this build is to use actually at the right moments the Earth Bite skill. It immobilizes many enemies, and when you feel like you are going to get killed because there are many enemies around, you can immobilize them and survive this way. Numbers of damage, physical resist goes up. Pierce resist goes up because of the onslaught add-on. Talk to this guy. Too many turtles in this area. I don't know why the developers decided to put so many turtles there. As we can see here, this is going to be a very easy run for this character. In general. And actually, since my most favorite type of builds in this game, or in general in action RPGs, is melee builds, this is going to become one of my top favorite builds, I think. Let's see what will happen here. We activate the battle standard. Okay. They disrupted my skill. We can see how easy it is. Nothing can really resist my attacks. The damage the strength, the power of my attacks, my physical damage. Yeah. You do this move, you stun them, and then you kill them. Basket. So, guys, this is the build. This is how it plays. It is super simple. You only activate this one, it remains active until you die, or they spell break it for you. And then you use these skills whenever you want to do things on the enemies. And this one, the Warhorn. Very simple build. Very soon I will be streaming this build and I will make some more videos of this one because I like it very much. And it is very interesting to see how it will do throughout the whole legendary difficulty. So again, thanks for watching this video. If you like the content, subscribe. If you want to support this channel actively, you can become a Patreon or become a membership on YouTube. We have 3 different tiers. Or you can subscribe on my Twitch, because I'm multi-streaming always on Twitch and YouTube. You can choose whatever you want to do. I will see you very soon again with more content. Have a great day.